This is kind of an unprecedented situation for Grand Theft Auto because one of the defining narratives going into the hype cycle for this game is this idea that, oh, Grand Theft Auto 6, it's going to be the biggest thing in entertainment ever. Oh, it's going to generate more money than anything else. It got the highest YouTube views ever. What was our legit talking point at one point? This has been a reoccurring thing, and looking into it, looking at the numbers, researching it, like going beyond the headlines, I realized that it's not actually true. Because the narrative that Grand Theft Auto 5 sold 250 million units, and that makes it the biggest IP in the world, that's not how this works, okay? Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. There's been no sequel since. The game has never left print. It's been re-released several times. That's why the sales numbers are so high. When you look at more successful brands like, say, Pokemon gets new installments every couple of years. It constantly grows, expands, introduces new products outside of video games, and is a far healthier, versatile, profitable brand, okay? Pokemon is way, way, way bigger than Grand Theft Auto, and we're learning more and more that that's also true for a variety of other brands. Mario is bigger, Street Fighter is bigger apparently, and even Spider-Man is bigger because we have recently had gotten information that Spider-Man, Brand New Day, stupidest subtitle ever, that has actually eclipsed Grand Theft Auto's trailer record, the most amount of views earned in 24 hours, the most successful YouTube trailer ever. Spider-Man has beaten out Grand Theft Auto. And a lot of people are spurging out about this. A lot of people are just kind of trying to downplay what this means and trying to downplay the implications. But first of all, the amount of views you get on a YouTube trailer don't really mean anything. Okay, they're astroturf to fuck, and nobody actually follows along with this stuff or cares. Okay, I remember when Fallout 4 had a ton of views, and that game came out and completely flopped. Okay. This is going to be the same deal with Spider-Man and Grand Theft Auto 6, but what's interesting about it is that so many people really got it in their heads that Grand Theft Auto was this wildly regarded, culturally iconic franchise, but this thing is 25 years old now. This thing has been in video games for decades at this point. It's established itself in pop culture. Grand Theft Auto does not exist outside the world of video games, and even then, it's not very successful in it. Okay, when you look at multimedia brands like Spider-Man, obviously they're going to be more successful and iconic because of the comics, because of the cartoons, because of merchandise, and because of live-action adaptations. Right now, as of this recording, Grand Theft Auto has no live-action version. And the instant they would try to produce one, the instant they would try to put one out, what you would get would be a generic, uninspired crime movie, indistinguishable from all the others that come out every year. In fact, it's probably going to be lower quality, considering the pedigree, considering what's going on here. Grand Theft Auto 6 is just not that big of a product. The only reason people buy these games is to commit crimes in an open world space. Nobody actually cares about the setting, the characters, the ideas put forward. People don't care about the themes of Grand Theft Auto. Maybe outside of San Andreas. Okay, I'll give you San Andreas. San Andreas has stood the test of time. But everything else, who do you know who cares about Grand Theft Auto 4 and Nico's relationship with Roman? Okay, who even remembers the dynamic of that, of Roman lying about everything he had in America? Who remembers any of that, right? Grand Theft Auto 4 has failed to establish itself as a brand. Outside of major mainline releases that sell tons of units because of their infrequent releases, Grand Theft Auto just has no cultural relevancy. And I do think this is something that people do need to accept, because I keep seeing people say this, do this thing where they're like, "Oh, Grand Theft Auto, it's the most successful brand in entertainment." It's not. You know, you can't be the most successful brand in entertainment if your budget keeps skyrocketing, if you keep taking longer and longer to produce new product, and, you know, all your core people are leaving the company en masse, you know? Like, the collapse of Grand Theft Auto is honestly in full swing. I would argue since RDR2, like, the signs of how this is going to collapse are there, but people are still stuck in this mindset that Grand Theft Auto is, like, the edgiest, most toxic brand in gaming, and, it's not, you know. It's kind of like, you know, MTV in that sense, where like it's like, oh man, this is cultural, this is the youth, this is the future, man. And then the future comes, you know, the audience is old now, and all of a sudden, we don't play music videos anymore, bro. You know, like that's that was their reality. Okay, that was the mindset these people are in. Okay, that was what we saw out of the community. You know, this is what we're seeing out of, you know, Grand Theft Auto is just something that's worshipped by the community that just doesn't really live up to the hype, you know. Like, it's interesting that the biggest Grand Theft Auto 6 will ever be is the period just before it comes out, okay? You know, like, this is a thing that's gonna, like, get all this hype and attention because of the possibilities of what it could be. And then when we come to find out what it actually is, it's gonna like just completely fall apart, and no one's gonna care anymore. You know, like that's just the reality of Grand Theft Auto, is that it's not a brand that stands on its own merits, and I think we're gonna see a lot of that going forward. You know, Pokemon Pokepia is interesting because you know, that's a game that you know, after 16 years, this is the Nintendo game that finally surpassed Minecraft. Okay. This is a cultural phenomenon. Nintendo has a formula for this stuff going forward. They're going to stick with it and keep putting out, like, more games like it, okay? Like, they have their own Minecraft now. What's going to happen? You know, Minecraft can't put out a Minecraft 2 because, you know, that's not going to be as successful. You know, the hardcore player base is never going to move on from Minecraft 1, but they also can't, like, you know, just stagnate and, like, not innovate, because we're at the point now where companies like Nintendo are making games better than Minecraft ever was, and all of a sudden, you know, people just aren't interested in playing the same old Minecraft anymore. You know, that's the problem that we're seeing with a lot of these meme games, okay? Stuff like FNAF, stuff like Fortnite, you know, like, oh, well, they endlessly get new updates and installments, though, and, like, no. Like, the reality is, eventually the audience is going to get sick and tired of this nonsense, and they'll move on to the far superior Nintendo products. Like, all you're doing is just trying your best to preserve the status quo, while the world around you moves on to the far superior Nintendo products. And that's what we're seeing with Grand Theft Auto 6 right now, is that Spider-Man is nowhere near as big of a brand as Mario or Pokemon, right? It's not even close. But even that far surpasses the relevancy of Grand Theft Auto as a brand.